Kevin Harrington. I'm an original shark from the hit television show Shark Tank, and with me today is Gary Menzies. And Gary is with the Merchant Marketplace, and I want to ask you, Gary, welcome. Good to have you here, man.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
You've been, Merchant Marketplace is in the merchant cash advance business.
Yes.
And I just want to know, how long have you been in this world?
Well, not very long. It's I've always been open to new ideas, new opportunities when it comes to investing money in businesses. And about a year ago, I met somebody that was in the merchant cash advance business, but as an investor. They weren't borrowing money, but they were putting up their money to finance small businesses. And I became very intrigued by the business. Did a lot of research into it. And I said, wow, what an opportunity this is for an investor. As a former investment advisor, registered investment advisor, certified financial planner with over 25 years in that business,
Right.
I learned early on that research is everything.
Yeah.
When you recommend an investment to a client, you want to make sure that that's a viable, good investment.
Right. So you have history in researching investment opportunities, right?
A lot of history. And early in my career, I made a mistake of taking other people's word for how good an investment was.
Yeah.
And I realized it's not always good enough. Trust but verify.
Right.
So I did a lot of research, and I said, wow, this is a really opportunity that comes around only once every one. Great opportunities don't happen all the time.
Sure.
And so I started investing my own money.
Right.
Met the Merchant Marketplace, started investing some of my money, and all the research I had done and all the things they told me, everything matched up and everything worked so well that I became personally pulled all my liquid assets. I want more of this because of a lot of things, a lot of reasons. So that's how I got involved, and then I became friendly with the founders, Adam and Paul, and got involved. And I said, this is an opportunity for all investors. What I love in life is showing somebody investment, having them make an investment, and having them have outrageous returns that they love to talk about. That gives me a lot of satisfaction. It's not, we all want to make money, but to help other people make money is even more satisfying.
Absolutely. You've been an entrepreneur. Let's talk about your background in general.
So as a financial advisor, I did that business for over 25 years. But I wanted to do other things too. And so I sold the business to my partner and went on to start other businesses, restaurants, real estate development, software as a service, agriculture, aviation, jet management business. So I've done a lot of things. And I know what it's like to be a small business merchant. Right. And I know what it's like to go to a bank and have them demean you and tell you, get out of here, you're not qualified. I know what it's like to struggle for capital. I really relate to small business. I've been a small business guy all my life, and I know what it's like. I also spent a few years as an investment, or I should say a financial broker, helping businesses find money from banks, SBA loans and all that. It's a struggle. It's hard. And when a merchant does finally get a bank loan, a traditional loan, they sign their life away, literally. Personal guarantees, confession of judgments, collateral, spousal guarantees, and it's
this is the other way.
That's the other way to do it. And when I learned about this business from a merchant standpoint, I said, wow, this is so needed, especially nowadays. They predict about 100 more banks will go out of business in the next year or two. That's where we're at currently in 2024, right?
I want to understand that this merchant cash advance business is very powerful, but what did you learn really was kind of the main benefit?
I learned it's about a $25 billion industry.
It's a huge industry.
It's a huge industry. So, and some of the biggest players are companies like PayPal, Stripe, Shopify, e-commerce platforms. Because, when you ever hear of something that sounds almost too good to be true, then you're like, okay, what am I missing here? Well, when companies like that are behind it and have put billions of dollars into it and are growing, okay, there's it's a legit business, for one thing. It's legit. And I also learned that the returns that, small businesses pay factors, which can translate to 40 to 60 to 80% per year if you turn them into an investment.
Gotcha.
And I said, this sounds pretty amazing. So, but it's all true.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the research found.
Awesome. So recently, you had a big deal for you. You became the chief investment officer of the Merchant Marketplace.
I got to know the Merchant Marketplace. because of my research, and then I started investing with them, and I loved what they were doing, and I loved the business, and it kind of brought me full circle in my life, right? Financial back 25 years, I went and did 10, 15 years of other things, and now I'm back to what I really know, and we decided to partner up. I was going to bring investors together anyway and say, hey, let's do this, but we all agreed that it would be much better just to join the firm, be a partner, and work on behalf of all of us. So I'm the guy that's telling the story about how to make money in the merch cast business.
That's awesome. And so in terms of when you think of what a great investment is, I would love to hear what do you think is a great investment?
Well, yeah, everybody wants the same things. Return, right? They want the high return. They want safety, and
low
they
risk,
want liquidity, right?
Low risk and liquidity.
I used to say there's only, there's only so much juice in an orange, right? And you can't have it all, right? So, so if you have traditionally in traditional investments, whether it's stocks, bonds, real estate, if you have super high returns, it's usually not. It's pretty risky. Or if you have a predictable, lower return but very safe, it's probably not liquid. If you go out and buy real estate, it's not the most liquid thing in the world, especially right now in the time we're looking at. So those are the three things you always want. And what I discovered, if you invest properly, and I'll explain properly in a little bit, if you provide the money to the funding company, merchant marketplace, and you become we call a syndicator, meaning that you become an owner of these various contracts or capitalization of these small companies, you diversify, and you do it over time, and you let your money compound in new deals, it becomes very safe.
Right.
I mean, if you take money and
but these are businesses that are still operating. So they're to continue operating, they got to pay their expenses. And
so an example, let's say there's a restaurant and they had a bad situation. The pizza restaurant that down the street, the pizza oven blows up one day. They need a new one by tomorrow. They need it's going to cost $30,000 to do all of that. The bank, the bank's not going to give them the money, or if they want to give them money, it's going to take 2 months to get all the approvals. So they come to a company like Merchant Marketplace, and Merchant Marketplace says, we'll give you $30,000. We're going to take payments from you every day from your bank account as you get. Sales, we're going to take the money back. And, it's going to have a factor rate, which is like interest, but it's not interest, it's a factor.
Gotcha.
And so then the merchant marketplace takes that $30,000. They always put some of their own money into that $30,000. So maybe they put up $10,000. Then they come to the syndicators, like me or other people, and they say, hey, we've got $20,000 left. How much of it do you want?
Gotcha.
I'll take the $20,000.
Okay.
Now, if you do that one time, and that's all you ever do, that becomes a high risk investment, because God forbid if that business can't pay that money back, you're going to lose your $20,000.
Right.
But if you did 10 of those different loans, then your chances of losing are far less.
Exactly.
And we know in this industry that, in fact, all businesses have problems, they struggle, and some of them default.
Right.
Some of them default. Yeah. So there's going to be some defaults.
Sure. Yeah.
And so the way to protect against defaults is to have large numbers.
Have a large number
of loans, contracts, or
contracts. Right. Well, it sounds like a little bit of work doing all of this. Is this something that's very manageable?
Well, with Merchant Marketplace and their platform, which is an amazing piece of software. All of the deals, contracts are offered up on the platform, so an investor can see every detail of the offer. Okay, it's the pizza restaurant. It's located in Cincinnati, Ohio. Been in business 10 years. There's 2 owners. They're doing $100,000 a week in revenue. Yeah. And so all the
it's a lot of pizza.
All the underwriting is right there. So an investor can see all of that and make a decision. And just like any kind of a loan, some are lower risk, some are higher risk, depending on the business. So the investor can look at that and say, okay, I'm going to take a piece of that deal, and then he pushes the button, money transfers from his bank account to the funder, to the merchant. So there's nobody holding the money. The investor holds his own money, and just puts the money out to the merchant.
Gotcha.
Once he approves that, okay, I'll take 10,000 of that program.
Right.
Well, the other interesting thing that's very interesting is these contracts. These, we don't call them loans because they're not loans, but sometimes we use the word loan.
Right,
They're
right.
contracts. But the payments come back every day. The merchants make payments every day or every week.
Yes.
And as an investor, we get our share of that loan every day. So every day you get money
Put
coming
right into your checking
right
account.
back to your checking account.
Yeah.
It's amazing
Yeah.
because you don't have to wait. Like a traditional loan might be interest only for a year,
Right.
so you're only getting interest payment. You're getting principal and interest every day.
That's what I like, because let's talk about the word liquidity, right?
Yes.
Is a big thing when you're dealing with investing and getting your returns. How does the liquidity work here?
That's kind of the answer
Yeah,
right there.
right?
The liquidity is you put the money out and it's coming back to you incrementally and
On a daily basis.
on a daily or weekly basis.
Yeah.
And the contracts can run anywhere from 6 to 8 months. They typically average 6 months. So in 6 months you have all your money plus a profit back, which is pretty fast. So it's not like a 5-year deal or a 10-year deal. Somebody could put money in today, and over 6 months they'll get all their money back. That's pretty good liquidity.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you talk about the money coming back. Does it come back into an account, or is it a wallet, or
Yeah.
what?
Well,
I've heard the term wallet. It's
Yeah,
been used
so
in
the
your-
merchant marketplace makes it convenient for everybody. They will have a wallet, which is a bank account, and it's linked to your bank account. So when you approve of a deal, they can pull the money from the wallet if there's money in the wallet.
Yeah.
Or you can wire money to the wallet when you approve of a deal.
Yeah.
And one of my big concerns in the very beginning, before I knew anything about the business, I didn't want to hand somebody $100,000, some company.
Right.
Here's $100,000. Okay, now go buy some loan. I was nervous about that.
Right. Right.
But they said, no, don't give us $100,000. Approve of the deal you want to buy. Let's say it's $5,000,
Yeah.
and then wire $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so my money's not sitting in some hedge fund or some private equity fund somewhere else in La La Land.
Yeah.
It's either in my bank or it's with the merchant or it's coming back to me.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of comfort in knowing that my money's still my money and it's only going out and coming back.
Right.
So they serve as a conduit, and the platform gives you all the information. It shows every payment that comes back. It even keeps track of the gain, the profit, and the principal coming back. So
Right.
it's very
The
robust.
reporting is that's important, because investors, they want to see where their money is and know where it is. And that brings me to a point is, you've talked about investors getting their money back daily. You talked about them getting it back weekly. What do you recommend?
Well, probably the best, most exciting thing about investing in merchant cash advances is what I call the compounding factor.
Right.
So if you put your money into a merchant cash advance, you get your payments back over 6 months, and you do nothing else, you're going to have about a 30% return. But that's in 6 months. So if you do that 6 months, and then you take that money and put it in for another 6 months, what is that? That's 60%.
60%. Yeah.
But what if every day when you get a payment back from the first loan that you issue or fund, and you take that little, and it might be $100, but then you buy another contract with the $100.
Right.
And then it's day 3. You now have 3 checks coming in on a
Okay.
daily basis.
Yeah.
And you take that little check and you buy another one. 4th day, 5th day, or even if you do it once a week, you take the money you got during the week and you buy another contract. The compounding effect. I've done some projections. I don't even want to talk about it because it sounds
They get
ridiculous.
crazy, right?
The numbers get really crazy. You know what an exponential curve is, right?
Sure.
So
They call it a hockey stick.
Yeah, it's a hockey stick. And
Right.
so, going back to when I first was introduced to this by an investor, he showed me his account because it didn't add up for me at first. He showed me. He said, I started with $250,000 about 2.5 years ago. He said, let me show you my account. It was over $1 million
Wow.
in
That's
just
awesome.
2.5 years. Yeah, and at first I said, well, how can that be? Because even if you're getting 60% a year, it's not 4 times your money. But then he said, no, every time I get a payment, I put it back.
Gotcha.
I buy a new contract. And then you get, and that's what really said, okay.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
and it's crazy.
We're running out of time, but I want to. There's one thing that just hit me. What about taxes?
Well, you're in a business when you're syndicating contracts, you're putting money out, getting money back. I would recommend that everybody talks to a tax advisor because there's different ways you can do the accounting. But the other thing that's really interesting, you can use your IRA money. If you have money in an IRA or a pension plan, self-directed pension plan, you can use that money to fund merchant cash advances. It requires some paperwork. You got to set up what's called a self-directed IRA with a custodian.
Gotcha.
But you can use, qualified money to make investments in the MSA space, which then, then it's all tax deferred, tax free, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So it's a big advantage.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Gary, I want to thank you and the folks that are listening here for being here today, because this is an awesome opportunity. You are the chief investment advisor officer at the merchant marketplace.
I'm the explainer.
The explainer. But you have seen some explaining from friends of yours that invested prior, and I just want to say this is a great opportunity, and thank you so much for being here today. And anyone that has any questions, please feel free to contact Gary directly. He's got a ton of knowledge, and we're very, very excited about this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for investors that want to invest money into the merchant cash advance business to make extraordinarily high returns. But there's a little bit of a learning curve, and my job is to help teach you and educate you about how the whole system works. Feel free to reach out to me at Gary@merchantmarketplace.com or give us a call.